You are now listening to the Highly Evolved Podcast. You can find this channel on Twitter, Gab.ai, BitChute, and Minds.com. This is a Real American Patriot channel for Real American Patriot. If you're not a Real American Patriot, please exit the channel. Furthermore, we are not sponsored by any outside interference. That means we're unscripted, unrehearsed, and unedited. With that being said, transmission will commence momentarily.
How you guys doing? Thank you for joining me on the Highly Evolved Podcast. I'm your host, Safan. You can find me on BitChute, Minds.com, and Twitter and Gab.com, as well as YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, because YouTube is going on the banning spree right now, demonetizing people. It really helps a lot if you guys would subscribe. On this note, I must warn you, it's going to be a very long article. It's about Iran, they're going through right now. Iran has been set up, I don't want to say set up, but accused of destroying 2 oil tankers. That's not even a part of the United States at all, right? Doesn't make any sense, all right? They're being accused of bombing 2 oil tankers. One's in Japan, and the other ones, I can't remember what's the other one, all right? Not only that, the United States had a video, have a black and white video, right, about 2 quote-unquote Iranian troops taking an unexplosive bomb off of one of the ship, right? The video looked like it was shot in 2001 with the Sony Cyber Handycam, or whatever it is, right? Outdated technology. Like, it's 2019. You would think they have some HD camera, right? You would think they have some HD camera. And the thing is, when you want to question is that there's nothing that's labeled on the ship that say Iran on it. And you see the person who's recording this video, you would think that you would call the United States troops to go intercept this boat. Why didn't anybody intercept this boat? It's so much question and stuff that doesn't make sense, right? That needs to be answered. Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? And John Bolton tried to push this war agenda. Mike Pompeo tried to push his war agenda. Like, no. First of all, there was no troop died. No American died. This wasn't even American. There wasn't even American oil tankers, right? And plus, this is the Iran territory. They control this area, and this oil tanker knew what they were getting themselves into, right? They said they knew the risk of having the boat over here, right? Not only that, Japan Prime Minister was in Iran. Why it would not be smart to blow up a Japan oil tanker while the Prime Minister is in Iran? Would that be smart? It wouldn't be smart. There's so many unanswered questions. That's why I want to tell you guys, you need to start asking questions. This whole narrative of bombing our oil tanker doesn't make any sense. I commend Trump for not doing anything about this because there's no troop. No American died in this. All right, why should we go into war because of this for? It doesn't make any sense. And John Bolton, this guy with the mustache, I got a mustache too. This guy with the mustache tried to perpetuate this. They're like, bro, calm down, you warmongering Nazi. All right, this guy, John Bolton, is the same guy who said that it's okay to lie to American people if it protects their natural interests. What the heck does that mean? So I'd rather know all the news, regardless how bad it is, right? Don't lie to me. He said that. John Bolton said it's best to lie to American people for their own for their best interest. I'm like, what the heck? All right, but let's go to this article. This is gonna be a long one, guys. This is from Zero Hedge. All right, let me pull this up for you guys. I thank you for being loyal and just listen to me right now, or watch this video while I'm doing what I'm doing. All right, but here's this article. How Iran was swindled out of $3.2 trillion, all right? Under the New Year anniversary of the mid-August of citing a convention of the large statue of Caspian Sea is one of the greatest oil industry swindle in recent years. When representatives of the Caspian lateral state meet in 11 and 12 in August, Iran intended to seek some redress from Russia and Moscow, right? The maneuvering last August is an Islamic Republican believed that it was robbed by historic rise of Caspian, pouring it out of U.S. $50 billion per year income. The left without Russia's support against the reimposition of U.S. sanctions. Little of any apparent consequences was decided last August that the 5 Caspian lateral states, Russia, Iran, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, signed a convention of the large statute of Caspian Sea. The limited publicity that surrounded the signings stated only that the agreement stipulated that relationship between lateral states would be based on the broad principle of national sovereignties, territorial integrities, equal among members, and the non-use of threat of forces. It refined from specifically going into detail about shared allocation of Caspian Sea resources and taking only vaguely among giving the area specific legal status. However, the senior oil gas industry sources who work closely with Iran Petroleum Ministry told oilprice.com that it was secret second part of the deal that prevent explosive of the perennially fractious relationship between the Caspian states. A strike of massive Caspian Sea hydrocarbon resources prize has been fought over since the dissolution of the USSR in 1991, resulting in 3 additional partners: Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, and Azerbaijan, and the original partnership of Russia and Iran. Prior to the fracturing of the USSR in the constituent independent state, Iran and the USSR have struck an original agreement in 1921 to split the fishing rights in the Caspian Sea 50-50. This is amended to the 1924 included, and any resources recovered, meaning that practical terms that all hydrocarbon and resources would share equally between Russia and Iran. Quote, Iran have set back that the Russians should have shared the Caspian stake in 3 forms of USSR state, but Iran was content to wait to official legal dispute to be settled, underlining the Iran sources. A stake of allocation of renewable from the wide Caspian Basin area include both onshore-offshore field that conservatively estimated to have around 48 billion barrels of oil, 290 trillion cubic feet of natural gases, and proven the probable reserve, around 41% of total Caspian crude oil, at least condensate, and 36% of natural gases exist offshore field, with the additional 35% of oil, 45% gas estimated of the offshore within 100 miles of the coast, particularly in Russia, North Caucasus region. The remaining 12 billion barrels of oil, 56 TCF of natural gases that are believed to be variously located further offshore in the large Caspian Sea basin, mostly Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and Turkmenistan area, account to the average of 17% of total production of 5 lateral states have shared the resources, and average total to 2.5 to 2.9 million barrels per day. Before the convention of the legal status of the Caspian Sea agreement was signed last August, oil output targets for each country were set 3 months in advance, which all revenues paid for certain Caspian oil count, which was split into equal portion of 20% between 5 lateral states, said the sources. The revenues, at least prior to imposition of the sanction against by the U.S. and last year, usually comprised of 95% U.S. dollars and euros, but with some local currency in the mix. Against the backdrop, the legal designation of the Caspian as either a sea or a lake would have far-reaching repercussion on the assignment of the revenues from it. if it was designated to the sea, that coastal country would apply to the United Nations Convention and the Law of the Sea in 1982, in which event would lateral states would receive a territorial sea up to 12 nautical miles and inclusive economy zone up to nautical miles of 200 miles. The continental shift in practice would mean that country which Turkmenistan and Azerbaijan would have exclusive access to offshore and would not be able to access. This is a long article. If it would designate wow. If it designated the lake, it was the formal designation before the August Agreement, and then the country could use the lateral law concerning borders and take sets of boundaries to which country effective process 20% of the seafloor of the Caspian. In the preparation of the signing of the Convention of Legal Status of the Caspian Sea last August, Iran had engaged in lawyer challenge to establish 20% shares in each lateral shares had informally agreed upon based on the fact that Russia should have used its own 50% share to make a good stake for its former USSR rate. Iran was confident that the point of Russia would show some flexibility after the US's pulled out of the nuclear deal last May. Moscow immediately made a deal with Iran that would effectively have given in control of the Iran oil, gas, and resources. Specifically, the deal was with Russia would have Iranian $50 billion every year for at least 5 years. Wow. So they have a stranglehold on them. 3.5, wow. So it's $15 billion. $50 billion every year. This would cover the Iran estimated of $150 billion of costs, bringing the key oil and gas field to Western standards, within US $100 billion left over to build out the key of the economy. Russia also pledged to veto all attempts of the United Nations Security Council to have sanctions against Russia. Against Iran, increasing to have the term of original nuclear deal redrawn, include further sanctionable actions such as missile testing or not allowing snap inspection of all military facility, which could do as it as one of just 5 permanent members of the UNSC, said the Iran Resources. In exchange for this, Iran, in addition to giving Russia preferences in oil gas sectors, also tightened up military operation in Russia, including buying Russia S-400. So they're going to buy their technology to combat airstrikes. Missile defense system, allowing Russia to expand its number of listening posts in Iran, double on the number of sensors ranking Islamic Revolutionary Guard, IRGC, officer second in Moscow from going training between 120 and 130. The catch for Iran was that under the term of agreement, there was no clauses to allow Iran to impose any penalty on Russia development firm to show progress in any field of the next 10 years. Russia thought during the entire 10 years period would still have the right to dictate exactly how much oil was produced from each field. Wow, so Russia got a lot of control over the Iran oil field. When it's sold, to whom it was sold, for how much it was sold, Russia also had the right to be able to buy the oil or gas being produced in the field. That company was supposedly developed 55 to 72% of open market value in the next 10 years. So they got a stranglehold on the oil. All right, the Iran naively thought that it meant that it had entered a genuine two-way partnership with Russia, but Russia didn't see it that way. Iran sources said the Russia way of seeing things, once it had secured Iran in the deal, effectively making it a client state. It had no reason to honor any other of its previous obligations. The situation was worsened for Iran by the fact that Russia has had its own problem with the United States sanction and don't want to make things worsen by siding through with Iran. So Russia just screwed them over. That's how they lose. They lose all these. So that's how they lose. Swindled out of $3.2 trillion. They were swindled by Russia. Right? They thought they made a good deal with Russia, but apparently they did make a good deal with Russia. All right. Given those considerations, the fact that Russia want to strengthen the relationship with the previous USSR state, Moscow was a prime mover of having a Caspian designated as a sea, not a lake. This was the basin because Russia had opened a channel from the Volga River to the Caspian to prevent the level of dropping. The Caspian no longer conformed to the legal definition of a lake. Oh, it's not a lake no more. Which is location water deposits standing dependent of any river and service. So it's a part of a sea now instead of a lake. This meant effectively Russia could divide up the share as it saw fit, and ways it saw fit was to benefit existing allies. Kazakhstan, which was assigned with 28% share, and which of ally Azerbaijan, which secured 21% stake. Russia saw a slight increase to 21%. With Turkmenistan, share goes up to 17.2285%. As it seemed as a softer touch by Russia, and Iran's share down just 11.875%, said the Iran sources. This switch from 50%, just over 11%, meant that Iran will lose at least $3.2 trillion in revenue from the dispute and lost value of emergency product going forward, concluding Iran sources. Wow. Iran's doing all this crazy stuff with deal because they're afraid they might get attacked by the United States. That's why they made a deal with Russia to buy their S-4s. Right? So they're willing to say they want all these information, all this technology to protect themselves, and they're trading off all these money to Russia. And Russia Russia don't have to abide by the agreement because if Russia abide by any agreement with Iran, because Iran's already been sanctioned, if Russia did any actual deal with Iran, they would put further the more sanction onto Russia from the United States. So the Russia just gypped off Iran big time, right? This is a long article, all right, guys. This is a long article and it's very technical. You have to understand geopolitics. This is basically geopolitics. So basically, if you're not into the geopolitics like this, you wouldn't know what they're talking about. All right, you have to have knowledge on the area, the Caspian Seas, whether it's a lake or a sea at all. Apparently, if it's a lake, it gotta be independent of all water sources. But Russia made it into a sea because it connected to a river. All right, once it's connected to a body of river and flow out into another part of water, it's classified as a sea now. All right, on a technicality. So they trade off all their resources big time. That's mean oil production. Russia got control in their oil productions. This is what's gonna be like. This is, if you haven't heard, because of this situation with with Iran, oil prices will have to go down now. All right, they could bomb all the oil tankers they want, but this is a clear sign that because of Russia having control of the Iran oil production now, oil prices will go up. Will go down. That means they'll produce more barrel oils in the market. Right? It's all oil war. And now Iran's in a desperate mode right now. They're afraid of being attacked. That's why they're shooting out drones, right? Because they're afraid of getting attacked, right? And now they're perpetuating wars. John Bolton and Mike Pompeo, and people's not buying for this. But this is a long article. It's a very long article. You have to know something about geopolitics, all right, different areas of the regions, all right, track back into your history, all right. But I appreciate for you guys to wait out that long. This is a very long article, but I'll leave a link in the description below if you guys want to read it yourself. If you guys get confused or sidetracked from me reading it out like that, but yeah, it's just basically tell you how Iran got swindled out of $3.2 trillion by the Russian. Crazy story. But let me know what you think. You think this is a good sign? You think it's a bad sign? You think Russia was came up? You think Iran did a stupid deal? Let me know what you think. This is the HighlyEvolvedPodcast. Because of what I'm talking about, what I'm reporting, YouTube don't want to monetize my channel because I'm not monetized. I'm unscripted, unrehearsed, unedited. That means I can say what I want without being bothered by any outside interference. Because of that, I'm not taking any donation because the point of this channel is to wake people up, to make people ask questions, right? And what you can do to help me do that by like, share, subscribe. Because when you subscribe, it encourages me to make more videos. When I make more videos, I saturated YouTube with my videos. When I saturate YouTube with my videos, it messes up with the algorithm so it could share out to other people's, right? For example, I'm trying to wake up America to tell them what kind of world that they're living in right now. And I don't know, guys, I thank you for listening to me. I know this is a long video. I know your time is very precious, and I try to waste it in your time. This is the HighlyEvolvedPodcast. Find me on BitChute, Minds.com, Twitter, Gab.com. Most importantly, like, share, and subscribe. I don't know, guys. I'm signing out. Peace.